name is Lakiana September Grace, but before I continue, I would like to recognize County Executive Mr. Edward Mangano, Deputy Community County Executive for Minority Affairs. I will be speaking to you about what I stand for in such a time as this, from the standpoint of a 13-year-old African-American female in middle school. Do you know the song Deep and Wide? Well, let's apply that song to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was a man who stood tall with a deep message that he spread worldwide. Martin Luther King, or MLK, was born January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. During his 39 years of life, MLK stood for integration, nonviolence, social justice, and equality among the races. Above all, his obedience to Christ motivated his actions, where he preached the word of God in church and had an interstate message that he taught abroad. In the face of increasing prejudice and hatred, this God-fearing man still encouraged his supporters to press on towards their goal nonviolently. In the face of arrest, incarceration, public attack, challenge, and controversy, this God-fearing man still pressed on to do what he believed was right, all while maintaining his self-respect and knowing that Jesus walked with him. All right. Seeing all that Dr. King did, I wonder if I could be as bold as he was when I asked myself, Lakiana, what do you stand for? Webster's New Basic Dictionary provides some definitions of stand, as having an upright position or becoming or remaining firm or stationary. However, I made an acronym of the letters in stand, S-T-A-N-D. I came up with standing tested, although not deterred. What do you stand for in such a time as this? Of the 66 books of the Bible, I think of the Old Testament book of Esther. There I learned about a fierce female who refused to lay down her integrity and stood. So do I stand tested, although not deterred, in such a time as this. Dr. King said that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenges and controversy.
That's right. That's right.
Just as Dr. King refused to exist silently in an era of blatant injustice, so do I stand tested, although not deterred, in such a time as this. But for what? Do I stand for fitting in conveniently with peers when they engage in mindless behavior? No, I stand apart to show the world our generation is more than destructive. Forget mindless behavior. I stand to mind my behavior when in school, church, and throughout life. Do I stand for being bound by what the world expects from us as youth? No. In Stand by Reverend Donnie McClurkin, B.B. Winans, and C.C. Winans, there are words. Be not entangled to the bondage again. You just stand. With the help of courageous leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we have an opportunity to vote, receive quality educations greater than their ancestors, and live in a world that appreciates diversity. Because of this, I stand for getting my education and obtaining a top job where I can be qualified to be like SpongeBob flipping Krabby Patties, dance like Alvin Ailey, practice medicine like my doctor, Dr. Greta Rainsford, practice law like Thurgood Marshall, be close to local community like Mayor Wayne Hall, be an author like Alexander Haley, represent our state before Congress like Shirley Chisholm, preach like my pastor, Reverend Philip McDowell, or be bald like LeBron James. I've come to tell you, judge not the color of my skin, but the content of my character. Like a statement made by MLK when his friends teased him during his childhood. I may smell like a mule, but I don't think like a mule. In other words, I stand tested, although not deterred. I encourage us to live lives where we can raise up as people locally and nationally. James Earl Ray may have killed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but he did not kill the dream, because the dream lives on through me.